They knew what they were doing, and they thought they can get away with it.
Several new developments in South suburban Dolton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial reports.
Deceit, corruption, and betrayal are at the heart of this explosive story. From living like royalty to facing a potential downfall, Mayor Tiffany Henyard's reign over Dolton and Thornton Township is teetering on the edge of collapse. Allegations of shady dealings, misuse of power, and betrayal by her closest allies have set the small town of Dolton ablaze with scandal. How did this political powerhouse end up in such a tangled web of controversy? And what secrets might be exposed if her once loyal deputy decides to turn against her? Stay tuned as we unravel the shocking truth behind this twisted tale. Welcome to the channel, drama enthusiasts. Hold on to your seats, because today we're diving into a scandal that's rocking the small town of Dolton, Illinois. Tiffany Henyard, once a celebrated mayor and township supervisor, is now facing allegations of corruption, abuse of power, and betrayal by her closest allies. From a mysterious charity scandal to her lavish spending spree, this tale of deceit is like something straight out of a political thriller. How did Henyard's empire start crumbling? And could this be the beginning of her downfall? Stick around, because we're unraveling every juicy detail in this wild ride of a story. You won't want to miss this one, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated on all the latest drama. First things first, let's talk about the juicy rumors that have everyone buzzing. Recently, the talk of the town has been about Henyard's supposed charity, the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation. On the surface, it sounds noble, a foundation dedicated to cancer awareness and support. But here's the kicker. No one can seem to find any legitimate records of this foundation. According to multiple sources, the Illinois Attorney General's office even sent a cease and desist letter to Henyard, demanding she stop seeking contributions immediately. Why? Because the charity never registered, and there's no clear accounting of where any of the donated money went. If that doesn't sound shady, I don't know what does. In response, Henyard claimed to know nothing about the charity, despite previously boasting about it. Yes, you heard that right. She outright denied any involvement. In a classic display of doublespeak, she even went as far as to say, "I do not handle anything as it relates to credit cards. I do not handle that." But come on, Tiffany. Who are we kidding? People aren't buying it, and the whispers are only growing louder. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this scandal involving Henyard's ally, Deputy Police Chief Liz Lacey. Lacey, often seen as Henyard's right-hand man and her self-appointed protector, has found himself knee-deep in legal troubles. He's been indicted on federal charges of bankruptcy fraud, making false statements, and even perjury. This man allegedly schemed to hide assets and underreported his income to dodge creditors. And it seems like this legal mess is just the tip of the iceberg. But here's where it gets even juicier. Rumor has it that Lacey is now looking to cut a deal with the feds, potentially turning on Henyard to save his own skin. Can you imagine the secrets Lacey might spill if he decides to cooperate with investigators? The betrayal would be a huge blow to Henyard, who's already struggling to keep her head above water. As this story unfolds, one can only wonder what kind of bombshells might be dropped if Lacey decides to sing like a canary. To understand how Tiffany Henyard, once a rising political star, found herself at the center of such a scandal, we need to rewind and look back at her journey to becoming mayor. Henyard's ascent to power wasn't exactly smooth sailing. She started as a trustee in Dolton, where she quickly gained a reputation for being aggressive and ruthless in her pursuit of power. She knew how to play the game, aligning herself with key figures and exploiting her position to gain influence. When she finally clinched the mayoral seat in 2021, Henyard didn't waste any time making her mark, but not in the way you'd hope a leader would. Instead of uplifting the community, Henyard's leadership quickly became synonymous with controversy. From day one, she was accused of manipulating employees, firing those who didn't toe the line, and hiring loyalists to maintain control. Henyard's reign has been marked by scandal, but perhaps none more glaring than her extravagant spending habits. In just 5 months, she and her entourage allegedly blew $67,000 on trips to places like Portland, Austin, and New York City. Fancy dinners, luxury hotels like the Four Seasons in Atlanta, all funded by Dolton's taxpayers. It's almost as if she thought the village coffers were her personal piggy bank. While Henyard defended these trips as necessary for village business, most people saw them for what they were: taxpayer-funded joyrides. The public was outraged, and rightfully so. Imagine watching your town struggle financially while your mayor is living it up on your dime. The scandal didn't stop at lavish trips, though. The deeper investigators dug, the more they uncovered, leading to even more shocking revelations about Henyard's spending habits. But it wasn't just money that Henyard was accused of misusing. She's also been accused of weaponizing the police department, using it to intimidate political rivals and critics. In one particularly shocking instance, when faced with pushback from the trustees, Henyard didn't hesitate to assert her authority. "Stop playing these silly games," she was heard telling police officers in a video obtained by WGN. This level of micromanagement and blatant disregard for procedure shows just how far Henyard was willing to go to maintain her grip on power. The scandal involving her ally, Deputy Police Chief Liz Lacey, only adds to the sense of corruption within the administration. Despite his being placed on administrative leave following his indictment, Henyard was caught on tape ordering the police to follow his directives. This not only raises serious ethical questions, but also highlights the extent to which Henyard was willing to go to protect her inner circle, even at the expense of justice and accountability. Perhaps the most telling sign of Henyard's unraveling empire is her handling of Dolton's finances. Under her leadership, the village's general fund plummeted from a surplus of $5.61 million in April 2022 to a staggering deficit of $3.65 million by May 2024. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, hired to investigate the town's finances, revealed that taxpayer money was being spent on everything from Amazon splurges to overtime pay that far exceeded regular salaries. One officer, whose salary was $73,515, reportedly raked in $127,000 in overtime pay for fiscal year 2024. This kind of financial mismanagement isn't just irresponsible, it's downright reckless. It's no wonder the Illinois Comptroller's Office decided to freeze $135,000 in state funds to Dolton until the village submits its past due audits and gets its financial act together. The situation has gotten so bad that the state had to step in to prevent further damage. But the question remains, how did things get this far? Where does this leave Tiffany Henyard now? On the brink of political extinction? That's where. The FBI has launched an investigation into her conduct, and subpoenas have been flying left and right. Federal agents are sniffing around, piecing together the puzzle of what really happened in Dolton under her watch. And trust us, they don't launch these kinds of investigations on a whim. They're looking at everything, from her personal spending to her alleged misuse of the police force. And let's not forget about Lacey. If he decides to cooperate with the feds, Henyard could very well be facing some serious time behind bars. The secrets he might spill could be the final nail in her political coffin. It's a tense moment, and the entire town and the nation is watching closely to see what happens next. But it's not just the legal troubles that are mounting. Henyard's political base is crumbling beneath her. Allies who once stood by her side are either jumping ship or being taken down by their own scandals. Take Keith Freeman, for example. Once a close aide to Henyard, Freeman has now found himself at odds with her, especially after he was also hit with bankruptcy fraud charges. The situation reached a boiling point when Henyard tried to fire Freeman, only for the trustees to push back, arguing that she didn't have the authority to make that decision unilaterally. It's chaos, pure and simple, and it all seems to be spiraling out of control. The very foundation of Henyard's political empire is crumbling, and it's happening in real time. As the saga of Tiffany Henyard unfolds, the public's reaction has been a mix of outrage, disbelief, and a call for accountability. Many are voicing their frustration over the apparent corruption and the strain it has placed on the small town of Dolton. "Just keep calling her out and pray for Dolton," one resident commented, highlighting the community's desperation for change. Others have expressed disbelief at how Henyard's alleged misconduct has been allowed to persist unchecked for so long. How in the hell is the corruption allowed to continue on as it has for the past couple of years, while the taxpayers are forced to foot the bill? Another frustrated citizen questioned. These comments reflect a broader sentiment that the town has been failed not only by its leadership, but also by the mechanisms meant to hold those in power accountable. So what's the takeaway from all this drama? It's a classic tale of pride coming before a fall. Henyard, once a seemingly untouchable figure in Dolton's political scene, now finds herself isolated, her power waning, and her reputation in tatters. She played the game of politics ruthlessly, but in the end, her self-interest and unchecked ambition may have cost her everything. She's accused of abusing her power, misusing taxpayer money, and retaliating against anyone who dared to challenge her. And now, it looks like karma is catching up to her. As this saga continues to unfold, it's clear that Tiffany Henyard's story is far from over. The stakes are high, and the clock is ticking. Will she manage to weather the storm, or will her empire finally crumble under the weight of her actions? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, this is one story you'll want to keep an eye on. With more and more people speaking out against her and the authorities closing in, it's only a matter of time before the next explosive revelation hits the headlines. So what do you think? Will Tiffany Henyard manage to dodge these allegations and maintain her grip on Dolton? Or are we witnessing the final chapter of her controversial reign? Do you believe her allies will stay loyal? Or could we see more betrayals as the investigations heat up? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. The unraveling of Tiffany Henyard's political empire serves as a stark reminder of how power, when unchecked, can lead to downfall. The story of Dolton's embattled mayor is still unfolding, and with every new development, the stakes get higher. As we watch this drama play out, one thing is clear: Henyard's reign is on shaky ground, and the consequences of her actions may be more severe than she ever imagined. Stay tuned for more updates, subscribe the channel, and press the bell icon as this story continues to develop.